You know what changes? Everything. Times change. Technology changes. People change. Sometimes it seems overnight. You can resist it. You can adapt to it. But you can't ignore it. Our thinking is to lead it by changing the way we work, changing the way expectations are met, leading clients and the practice of law forward. You know what that changes? Everything.
Hi, I'm Dawn Chafe, co-owner and executive editor of Atlantic Business Magazine, and this is Take 5 with the Top 50, the video interview series where we ask each of our top 50 award winners just 5 questions in an effort to find out what makes them tick. For this episode, I'm joined by Denis Larocque. Denis is the president and CEO of one of the world's largest drilling services companies, Major Drilling Group International, based in Moncton, New Brunswick. Denis, thanks so much for joining me. Let's dig right in.
I think the first thing and foremost is understanding the local culture and ways of doing business and embracing it. I give an example. The early in my career, I'd go down to South America, and in North America, we tend to be all about business. So we go in a meeting, we spend the first 1 minute to talk about maybe personal stuff and then get that out of the way and dig right into business. Where in South America, it's a lot more about relationships. You need to cultivate those relationships, and you go into business meetings and you could be 20 minutes into personal stuff, family and everything before you even start to touch the business aspect of a meeting. And that's important, the connection that you make. And so that's just one example, but understanding those little intricacies in working in the different business cultures is very important. The second thing I would say is knowing the local laws and taxes and hiring top professional help. Part of my experience, again, early on, I learned the hard way. Going cheap on your professionals can be very costly down the road when you get an interpretation of a law or taxes and then find out it could be years later that you've been paying in the wrong state or maybe at the wrong rate, and then it can really turn into a very costly mistake. So having top professional help, you can't, I can't stress that enough. And the third thing is to be involved in the local community. For us, that's really important. We have 3,000 employees scattered around the world. We tend to hire a lot of local employees, and for us to recruit, it's important to be part of that local community. So we do things like helping with building sometimes a local school, or things that we've done is when we ship, because we operate in small towns usually. So when we ship a container from here, there's always room left in the container. So we might throw in a box of books, or one year we partnered with local Rotary Club here, and we were able to send some medical equipment that had been upgraded in the local hospital over here, but was still very good and very useful in the communities. We were in Tanzania, so we were able to send some medical supplies and equipment in our container. Didn't cost us much more, and made a big difference in the local community. So being part of that local community is very important for us to operate internationally. It means empowering people. Really, we operate in 20 countries around the world, and we can't make decisions out of Moncton on a day-to-day basis. For example, if we were to operate a project in Argentina, you need to know the local ground, you need to know the local logistics, local laws. So for us, it's having the right people in the right place, and part of my job is really just to support them and make sure they have the right tools and make sure we have the right people there, but not necessarily making the decisions, the local decisions, and that's what I mean by that. It's more being there to support than really a coach making the decisions, because we need to work in a decentralized fashion, and so it's all about empowering people, really. Yeah, that's been the I must say the biggest adjustment when I became CEO, to let go of the day to day, uh, and and really it's not easy, and I'm still working at it. But again, it comes down to having the right people making the decisions on the ground. And part of the trick is to learn to stay out of the way when it comes to the details. And again, not easy, but the more you grow, the more you have to do that, because there is a lot more detail decisions that happen on a daily basis. So part of it is really, sometimes I get tempted to get involved in a meeting, or I could say, oh, I can help, I can jump in, but lots of time what happens is, if I get involved, because of my role, people tend to take what I say to the letter, and they might think that they should be going right, and because I don't have all the information, I might think that left might be the right thing, but so they'll end up going left if I step in. So the best thing is knowing when to step in and when to step out, and having the right people in the right place. Really, that's the key to all of this. Mining cycles for us are typically 15 years, and they're usually made out of 8 or 9 good years, and then 5 or 6 bad years of where there's no exploration. And the way it operates is, mining companies build up their reserves, and they do a lot of exploration. And once they've got enough reserves, then they shut down exploration for 5, 6 years. And that's what we've had from 2013 to 2019. And to the point where mining companies are now getting back to exploration, and they're all saying they need to build up their reserves, and they're going to need 6, 7, 8 good years of exploration. So that's all ahead of us. Now, we started 2020 with basically a lot of potential work ahead of us. It came to a screeching halt in March, just like many businesses. But we've stayed in contact with our customers, and their plans didn't move. We all need copper for our iPhones, and there's electric cars that are coming, and all these things. So therefore, companies are waiting to get out there, and they're starting to get back out there. We've put all the protocols in place to be able to do our work safely. And basically, the key for us has been, through the downturn from 2013 to 2019, to have a strong balance sheet, which has allowed us to invest in our equipment, our people, and innovation, while kind of flying through these turbulent times. And now we're in a very strong position, looking out again to what could be 8 very good years of exploration, and we're ready to take on that cycle. I think the whole location thing is losing luster. Yes, if you need to be facing your customers in the retail business, I agree. But in terms of head offices, I think what the pandemic has shown us is that with the technologies now, and just look at today, we're having this conversation online, that your head office could be anywhere. And in our case, there's not a lot of mining in the whole scheme of things happening in New Brunswick, but we still kept the head office here. In fact, we don't have much rigs turning in the Maritimes. Most of our work is in central Canada and northern Canada and around the world. But we've kept the head office here, and it's been here since 1980. And the reason is that we've been able to build a lot of knowledge through over the years, and that would be really hard for us to move that somewhere else. We've got a lot of people on staff that have been here for 10, 15 years, and that know how to operate, whether it's from a legal, from a financial, from a payroll. They know how to operate in places like Philippines or Mongolia or Chile. And so that's very, very valuable. And another aspect that I think um, we should think really hard in terms of trying to attract head offices to the Maritimes. There is a pool, and I always say, if we were in Toronto with all the big head offices that there are over there, we'd be a very small fish in a big pond, and we'd be competing to attract good talent. Being in Moncton, we are a fairly big fish, and it allows us to attract some of the best talent. And there's a lot of people that would rather work in the Maritimes that could take on some of these roles in the big head offices in Toronto, but they want to stay over here. So there is a lot of talent that could be tapped by head offices. So we should do efforts to try, and especially in this new world that we live now, we should do work to try to attract head offices to New Brunswick and Nova Scotia and Newfoundland and PEI. I see a lot of opportunities because for us it works well, and there's no reason why I would see ourselves moving somewhere else.